front so we can stay right on time. Wonderful. Welcome, everybody. We're jumping right in. We are tonight talking about aging well. We have about 30 minutes together this evening by the time of this recording. And we are going to start this Zoom with a question. And that question is, how do we turn around the notion of that's just what happens when you get older? Well, that's just what happens. That's just 40. That's just 50, right? It's just 60. That's just, how do we turn that around? How do we make that more empowering? How do we take control of that which we do have some control? And so as I introduce our very special speaker tonight, if we have not met, my name is Janelle Devlin. I am a wife, I'm a mom of 4, homeschool here in St. George, Utah. This is a new location for us, and have built a really healthy 6-figure business in the coaching, leadership, and health space, where we really work closely with people to help them find solutions that work, holistic solutions to mental wellness. We focus on that gut-brain connection, the microbiome, and it's just that direct impact that it has on not just our mind, but on our whole body. So this is what we're bringing in tonight. And I am really, truly feel so honored that I get to work with this woman, with our guest tonight, Miss Caroline Rydig. She's a speaker, a lifestyle coach, and a master fitness trainer out of Colorado. I met her quite a few years back, and the light that you see and feel from her tonight, it's the real deal. It really is the real deal. So tonight, Caroline's going to address specifically, as we talk about aging, lack of energy, going to talk about loss of memory, or just how memory can change, sleep, slowing digestion. You guys have heard of skin. So let's jump right in. So Caroline, when you talk about aging and aging well, what is it that you see is holding a lot of your clients back from feeling what they want to feel as they are earning more birthdays?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I'm really thrilled to be here. And thank you for having me. And thank you, everybody who's jumping on. I so appreciate it. And, I work with a lot of different people. Most of my clientele, I would say, is 40s, 50s, and 60s. And I often hear from them, oh, Caroline, my memory is just not good anymore. I am not sleeping well anymore. I don't know what's wrong. My energy, I just feel like I don't have energy to get through the day. My digestion is slowing down, and I've got this stuff around my waistline. I can't get rid of it. And I notice that my joints are achy, like my thumb joint hurts and my knees, that hurts. And I don't know, my skin is it's not as good as it used to be. What do I do? And one of the things that's happening is, as we are aging on the outside, and we are seeing ourselves age on the outside, and we are given tools to take care of what's happening on the outside, what we don't realize, or at least I certainly didn't think much about it until I had to, is that our insides are aging. And specifically, the gut microbiome is aging as we are aging. We started aging the moment we were born, and we need to be taking care of the inside of us as much as we are taking care of the outside of us. And so Janelle and I are going to talk tonight about the gut microbiome and how do we help the gut microbiome age with us. Now, if you don't know what the gut microbiome is, it is the trillions of bacterial cells that are in your gut. And in those trillions of cells in your gut, your immune system resides in there. That is also the place where your feel-good neurotransmitters are created, like dopamine and serotonin and GABA. And those are the neurotransmitters that help you feel happy. They help you feel like, okay, I've got energy to get through the day. Oh, I slept great last night. Yes, I remembered your name and I know where my keys are, right? So it's the gut microbiome. And if your gut microbiome is out of balance it could be many, many reasons. Maybe you've been sick. Maybe you had COVID. Maybe you've been on medications. You've been taking antibiotics. Maybe your stress level's off the charts. or maybe going back to the sleep, maybe your sleep is awful. That's going to throw out your gut microbiome. All of that affects the gut microbiome. And what I'd like to do tonight is address 3 areas. I want to address how nutrition can help your gut microbiome. I want to talk about supplementation, and I want to talk about lifestyle. Okay.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So let's start with the nutrition. Okay. So one of the things is you may notice that you can't eat like you used to eat when you were 20. You remember we used to go out and be like, yeah, drinks and burgers and fries and cheesecake and hot fudge sundaes and all that stuff. And you got up the next day and you're like, yeah, fine, let's go.
Yeah. No repercussions.
No. And I don't know about you now, but if I did that, it takes me a few days to recover, right? So what we eat now is so, so important. And we all know this, but it's a great, great reminder that the more vegetables that we can eat, organically grown if possible, the better our protein is, good grass-fed meats, chicken, sustainably resourced fish, the better. All of that's going to help feed the gut microbiome, right? And too, if you eat a really good meal, the next day you wake up and you're like, I feel good. There are days that all of my clients, I always check in with them every day. Each time they come in for a session, I'm like, how are you feeling today? Tell me what's going on in your body. And there are days, when some of my clients come in and they're like, I just don't feel good. I'm really tired. I'm sluggish. My joints hurt. I don't know what's wrong. And I go, okay, tell me what you did this weekend. Tell me what you did yesterday. And they go, oh, well, I just went to a birthday party. Oh, did you? Okay, great. A birthday party. Fantastic. Birthday cake. Yeah, I had like a couple pieces of birthday cake and there was some ice cream and we ate a whole bunch of champagne. And then there are all these hors d'oeuvres that I love. And I'm like, okay, that's fantastic. That is probably contributing to all this inflammation that's in your body and how just yucky you're feeling today, right? So your nutrition is everything, and I'm always telling, not always telling because I don't like to harp, but suggesting, right? Like cut down on the sugar, cut down on the carbs, cut down on the gluten. That's a huge one too. And if you do decide to do that, if you're like, okay, it's time, you're right, it's time, I've got to do that, I've really got to start paying attention more to my nutrition and my diet, I'm going to do it. You need to start looking and reading your labels because let's take gluten-free, okay? A friend of mine the other day said, hey, Caroline, I'm gluten-free too, and I found gluten-free Oreos. These are going to be so good for me, right? And I was like, maybe read the label on it because, people say, oh, gluten-free is a fad. Well, perhaps, but it's a good fad. And you've got to watch out though, because on those labels, you're going to see things like sugar and corn and all kinds of fillers, which you do not want to be putting in your body. So read your labels on those gluten-free things. Also,
Caroline?
Yeah.
Just to add in, I was just going to pull up the number. I don't have it right here with me, but I find it so fascinating, just even thinking about our taste buds. So it's us all taking this proactive approach. You eat a banana and, what's the calories of a banana? About 90 calories roughly for a medium-sized banana. Carbohydrates, about 30 carbohydrates. You eat one banana, and let me ask you guys, do you ever eat one banana and think, I got to go for a second banana? Maybe, maybe if you just ran a race or something. Do you ever go for a third? No, right? We just don't. We have that satisfaction and our message is sent to the brain. But when it comes to, Samantha says not really ever. But when it comes to a gluten-free Oreo, watch out. And I've had those before.
Oh, you have? Are they good?
Well, yeah, because one of my kiddos was very sweet, but you could throw down. You have to stop yourself, because you don't get that same messaging. It's not the same nutrient density. So it's just something to think about. It's not always apples for apples, no pun intended. So I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Thank you. Yeah. It's important. And the sugar is inflammatory, right? And we know this. Sugar is super inflammatory, and you start inflaming your gut, and that inflammation is going to spread throughout your whole body. You know, another ingredient to really keep your eye out for is corn. There is corn in a lot of foods that is used as a filler, and corn is super inflammatory. I know that when I go out for Mexican food and I eat chips, you know, the corn chips, which I love, the next day I feel it specifically in my neck from a neck injury that I've sustained, right? I'm like, oh, my neck, it was the corn chips, right? So read your labels. And what else do I want to say on this? Yeah, that, you know, that the sugar in the corn and the inflammation, huge. So pay attention to what you're putting in your body, right? Let's nourish your gut. Let's nourish that gut microbiome with good foods, which then leads me to talking about, oh yeah, Amber with the neck pain aches from Jerry. Yeah, that could be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Caroline, I was going to say, as you jump into the next topic,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the thing is looking at what we're having on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you go like, hey, I'm going out with some friends and we're going to have chips and salsa, then you can take a proactive approach.
That's right.
You know, like we happen to take a product from Amare Global called Relief and Digestive. Like the two of those, I'll make sure I take those sometimes with the meal and sometimes again afterwards,
Yeah.
and I won't feel the same effects the next day. So if you have these tools in your cabinet, these tools in your tool chest, you're able to kind of counteract that and help support your body so it doesn't have such a spike of inflammation. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely right. And yes, if you're taking the right supplements, you're going to have less inflammation in your body to start out with. So you start at a better base level in your gut, right? So yeah, really important. I have notes. I wanted to see if there's anything else I wanted to say. Alcohol, right? Alcohol super inflammatory for the body. And I've heard people say, oh, I need 3 glasses of wine though to fall asleep. I can't sleep if I don't have 3 glasses of wine. I'm like, but really, are you waking up at 3 a.m., at 4 a.m.? I call them the 3 o'clock wake ups because your liver is just going, oh my gosh, you know, I can't process this alcohol. So really, you're not sleeping better. And there was something else I just saw in my notes I wanted to say. So a tip I got one time that I think is such a great tip from a coach of mine. We were talking about something and I said, oh God, that's really hard. That's a really hard thing to do. And I've had clients in the past when I've said, listen, you're struggling with your weight. You're struggling with your energy level. You're not sleeping. What about cutting down on gluten and sugar and blah, blah, blah? She goes, oh, that's really hard. And I said, it is hard, but you have to choose your hard. Being inflamed, not sleeping, not being able to lose the weight, feeling like crap all day long is hard. So choose your hard. Maybe just start with one day, right? And so for today, I'm going to have scrambled eggs and vegetables for breakfast instead of a bagel or a bowl of cereal, right? Start there. But, you know, and maybe that's hard because you really want the sugar in the morning. Choose your hard and think about this in the long run. What's going to benefit me in the long run? This bagel or this cereal? Or like, oh, these eggs, it was hard to make them, right? Choose your hard. I always think of that phrase that my coach gave me, who might be listening right now, actually.
Yeah, sweet.
Choose your hard.
Good. It is true. And I think it's why you see so many, sometimes at the age of 40 or so, that jump into something, whether it's bodybuilding or CrossFit or more intense Pilates, that sort of thing. I mean, because they realize, okay, I need to make a change. And I mean, there's a lot that comes into that. There's community, there's accountability, but you can see, and I believe in watching a lot of family members and friends that have jumped into things like this. I think because all of a sudden we realize we've done hard things leading up to this point in life. And when we are choosing the hard and feeling the benefits of it, it becomes, what's the right word? We get that good feeling from it. It's probably a little dopamine hit. We kind of go, you know what? Look, I had that for breakfast. I feel fantastic. Let's do it again. And I think just to empower everyone, wherever you are and wanting to move forward, it's just, all we're doing is we're really creating new pathways in the brain to say, this one thing that I once thought of as hard actually is so life-giving to me. Let's do it again.
Completely. Yeah. Could not agree more.
Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So I want to address supplements, and I often hear people will say, I don't need supplements. I eat organically. I eat grass fed. I eat really good. I don't need supplements. Well, when I was 20, I would tell you I didn't have to work out. So now that I'm actually 61, and now that I'm in my 60s, and I've been supplementing for years because I adore supplements. And I have been in my past that woman who's had like a counter full of supplements. I've had all the supplements, right? Because I was like, oh yeah, it's awesome. Because I love the way it makes me feel. Now I will say that my regime is pared way, way, way down. But why supplements are important is because even if you're eating really, really well, unfortunately, our food is not the food that we were brought up on. Our soil has been so farmed that the nutrients are just not there and they're not getting into the soil. And even if you eat organically, because there are so many pesticides and chemicals that are sprayed in the air all the time, they get on your food. Even if you're organically, unfortunate, I'm sorry to say it, but we're still ingesting those chemicals and those pesticides. And so we need the supplementation to help boost the nutrients in our food. And, at this point in life too, going back to gut microbiome, what we want to do is we've got to help that gut microbiome. And particularly because the food is not great, because of antibiotics or because of COVID or being sick or stress or whatever it might be, that's knocked that gut microbiome out of whack. And I always suggest and always take for myself, Amare has an amazing pre and probiotic combination that I absolutely adore. And what it does is it starts to help balance the gut microbiome out, and it gets that dopamine and the serotonin and the GABA flowing, right? So you start to feel better, you start to feel happier. You notice, oh, I got really good sleep last night. You start to, people notice like, wow, you didn't yell at your kid today, did you? Wow, it was good, right? So I love our that product. We call it the Mentabiotics, and one of my absolute favorite products. One of the things that is so important in the work that we do with Amare here is we work with the signaling between the gut and the brain, right? We're talking about the gut-brain axis. It's the vagus nerve. And that axis, that nerve runs from the gut actually to the heart and then up to the brain. And we want to get that signaling firing properly, right? And those signals, if they're off, you're going to feel like you can't stop the cravings. I remember before I started taking the Amare products 3 years ago, that 11 o'clock in the morning, even though I'd had coffee and I'd had breakfast, my eggs and my vegetables, I was like, you know what, I want some chocolate. It's only 11 o'clock in the morning, I want a little chocolate. And then 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm like, I got like a little chocolate now too. And when I got onto those Amare products, I'd have my breakfast and I'm like, 11 o'clock came around, I'm like, I don't need any chocolate. So the signaling is going to help with the cravings. The right signaling is also going to help your blood sugar control levels, right? It's going to help you, right? Those blood sugar control levels. It's going to help you, with the cortisol. There's so much stress in the world right now. And we're all getting this hit of stress, which affects our cortisol. And we're like, this stuff around my waistline. If we've got those signals, right, gut, brain, dopamine, some serotonin, some GABA to help regulate that, you're not going to get that, you're going to get the stressed and you might be like swearing, but you might not feel like losing your mind like you might have in the past. At least that's for me. And I see that with my colleagues too, who are like, yeah, I listened to the news. Okay, well, what are we going to do about it instead of losing your mind? So
that resilience.
Yeah, that signaling I find is really important.
Because you were talking about, just go back a little bit to when you're talking about the middle-age spread that you told me about, that a lot of people come to you for and working just want to get around the middle. Does that have to do with the signaling too, in your opinion?
I think it does. I think it's a lot of the signaling. And you and I know people who have taken advantage of Amare's GBX, our new quad biotic,
Yep.
just specific just to helping the signaling with the gut and the brain, of course, but more specific to the cravings and then the bloating that you feel in the gut. Yeah.
I noticed that big time. I think it's like, I guess with our blood sugar and with aging, I know that we need more digestive enzymes after age 40. We just don't make we don't make as much, guys. So if you're not already doing a digestive enzyme and feeling a little stuck, maybe with weight, or you're starting to notice some reflux or not tolerating certain foods well, that's one very easy, cost-effective way you can jump in. And if you're not already using a great one and want our suggestions, then really, truly, the digestive from Amare is amazing. Has an artichoke extract in it that I know from all my food stuff in the past, taking so many different digestive enzymes. This is hands down my favorite. And although my digestion feels fantastic during the day now, and unless I'm going out for Mexican or something, I just take 2 before I go to bed. And I learned that years ago from a natural practitioner. And I feel like once I started doing that a couple of years ago, I just feel like I always was waking up with my stomach feeling better. So little tip there from 41.
Yes, that is an excellent, excellent tip. You know, we are so fortunate with Amare that we have just these incredible products. You know, I love the digestive. I also love relief. I was an equestrian for my whole life, up until 10 years ago. And I was thrown off horses and suffered it's my neck injury and broken collarbones and a closed head injury. And our relief product is amazing. The relief product is incredible. Why would
that be better? Oh, I'm so sorry. Why would that be better though from other things, from taking an Advil? Why would that be better? Maybe let people know why.
Yeah, I used to always do Advil, but the Advil is not great on your gut, right? Advil is a tough, what do we call it? Advil is it's a tough pill to swallow. I mean, you swallow it, but it's it's not great on the gut. And the relief products with the products that are in it, I mean, they're just amazing. I'll take 2 in the morning and 2 at night. And I was having pain in the, discomfort in this joint here, this thumb joint that's really common as we get older. That's stopped. My neck is much better. My knee will feel better. I love our relief product.
Well, good. I know we want to make sure we hear kind of what your daily flow is like, but maybe before that, you and I have had a conversation about skin, and a lot of people wonder, like, does our skin and our microbiome, is that connected? And the big answer is, we have a microbiome of our actual skin, our skin microbiome, and then we have our gut microbiome that signals and does a lot in regards to our skin and how our skin ages, how the loss of collagen, the rate of loss, being able to help with new healthy cells. So talk a little bit about that, and also what you heard from Dr. Hyman about, is it really is it about the creams?
Yeah, I was, it was a small aha moment. I had a feeling about it, but it was a small aha moment. And I listened to a lot of doctors. I'm so passionate about aging, and I'm so passionate now about the gut microbiome, because having suffered a health crisis, which is how I got involved in learning so much about the science of the gut microbiome, balancing out and optimizing my gut microbiome brought me back to my life. I really had an intense health crisis in 2015, 2016. I'm not going to go into it, but I'm so glad to be back now. And so I'm always listening to and studying gut microbiome and aging now, because I'm aging. And oh geez. And I was listening to Dr. Mark Hyman, who is a functional medicine doctor, who's very well known across the United States, brilliant, brilliant man. And he was saying, our skin has its own microbiome, right? If we are not taking care of our gut microbiome, it doesn't matter how much money you spend on skin cream. Your skin is not going to get better if your gut microbiome is off. And I had that feeling, right? I had that feeling, but I was like, oh yeah, of course it makes sense. And you look at, kids who have eczema and psoriasis, when their parents get them off gluten and get them off sugar and start getting them on a good, pre and probiotic, their skin clears up. Same with kids, like with acne, teenagers with acne. Look at the diet
Yes.
of kids. What are they eating? Oh,
So
some of
true.
those kids, the
And
crap they eat. They
sometimes,
don't.
Caroline, I'll say, I think of a little delay there. So I'm so sorry if it's like I'm interrupting you here, but the skin, you're right on. I just got a testimony this last week and I just haven't gotten permission from this gal to share, but she's like mind blown. Her third baby, really bad eczema. And she started using one of our products. And since she's nursing and even with the baby, anyways, has had great success. And she sent me a picture. She's like, I'm in the church mom's room looking at his skin. Like, I can't even believe in the span of 2 weeks, it's completely cleared up. And we say this being careful. We don't want to make any huge product claims here, guys. Like, this is commitment to a supplement program and then seeing what the benefits are going to be and where it shows up first for you. But I love that. And for me, it was acne that started in my 20s and didn't clear up until I simplified my supplement routine from all of the vitamins, handfuls of pills, vitamins, high quality, expensive ones, and simplified with Amare. So if you guys haven't seen my before and after of skin, reach out and ask me and I'll send it to you. But I didn't clear up until I was 37. So you're absolutely right. And I love that. So guys, and even thinking about fine lines and wrinkles, there's only so much we can do with that there, but there are other things we can do. And one of those is just having a strategic plan. And if the gut's feeling messed up and you're bloated a lot, you might also feel like, darn it, all my skin is looking like it's aging really fast. So we can nourish that a little bit more. So so in our last few minutes here, I'm just going to see, we talked about skin, we talked about joints, and you kind of said in the beginning, and if I can just even put a few more words to this, guys, we want you all to, as you want to age well, let's zoom out a little bit, right? Let's zoom out. Let's look at our life. Let's say, what is it, do we know, if we're honest with ourselves, could use a little support? Is it maybe like a sugar habit that's been going on for too long? Is it maybe poor sleep and you just haven't taken the time or space to maybe look into some things that will help you with that? Is it your stress, but you're just going so hard, hustling so hard, and or just taking care of everybody else that you haven't been able to stop and just say, hey, can you help me? What is it for you? Let's spend some time on that. And not even long, reach out to the person who invited you. Let's get a plan for you that's going to fit into your day so that we can get to the root. And we like to say, let's go upstream, see what's happening in your body. And if we address that, then watch and see what happens. Oh my gosh, like Caroline said, my sleep's better. I'm waking up not feeling bloated or without a headache. So that's such a key, isn't it? And I think one thing we didn't talk about is drive, even motivation. And that also, Caroline, I've heard you talk about that before, about just how that's related also to the microbiome, right? Which is hard to believe sometimes, really my drive for life and for things. Yeah. About what's happening here.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And that goes back to that, that firing, the signaling, the dopamine, the serotonin, the GABA. If it's not flowing, right, that gut microbiome is always oh. And, I want to speak to, because I know we're coming towards the end of this. I know that there's a lot of entrepreneurs on this call tonight, and a lot of people we've got to just keep ourselves going, right? With entrepreneurs or moms, like you mentioned. And one of the tricks that I do is, Amare has a product called Edge. It's our nootropic, and I love it. And what I do with it is I will take a scoop of that in the morning. I usually take it around 10 o'clock, or if I'm going to go to the gym early, like at 7 or 8, I'll take it before I go to the gym. And then if I have a day where I'm going to be seeing clients at the Pilates studio, I will take another scoop of Edge, and then sometimes I'll put energy in it as well. And what that does is it keeps my brain, it doesn't jag me out, but it keeps my brain really sharp and really fired up, in my creativity at its peak, so that every client, so I hear every single thing my client says. I keep working with the clients creatively, which is important, because when I work from, 6 clients in a row, sometimes by the 3rd or 4th, the brain can get a little bit right. And that doesn't happen, right? I stay sharp and fresh, and I love that.
That's amazing.
They appreciate that too. And any entrepreneurs out there, they know what that's like. Even moms, right? The end of the day, that 3 o'clock, oh, right. Don't reach for a Starbucks. That's just going to spike your blood sugar level and keep you up at night. Right. Take a scoop of Edge, take a mood, take some, our energy is amazing as well. Take another scoop of Menabiotics, put those together and get those signals firing.
Yes, we encourage you guys just to jump in and let's help you get a plan together. And if you haven't already seen the download that we have, the free download for everybody, the mental wellness toolkit, then reach out to the person who invited you. And I want you to look really specifically on not only some tips, additional tips that are in there for you, but also some of the science. So if you're like, well, how much, of an increase can I expect over 30 days? And confusion or some of these real things that have really been measured, third party, all of that, because we know that that's important to know, just kind of know some what to expect. And we always say your consistency is key. So when we're working on the signaling and aging well, I mean, we're looking at, you're going to feel some things right away and other things you are going to feel over time. Just like you go to maybe one of Caroline's classes, you don't go to one on Monday and then like the next week, like, I don't know if I'm feeling anything, so really our consistency is key. You attend maybe one of her events and you hear her speak. You don't just, if we just hear it and don't take that and put it into action, we're not going to get the results. So it's really no different. The goal, and I love how you said this, Caroline, is, as we were talking about this before this event, you said the goal is really confidence. It's not fake living. And if when we get going, we feel like we're always having to grasp and we're aging and we're like, I don't know, what can I do? It doesn't have to be fake living of like, just fake it till you make it. It's like, it's confidence because you feel like you know what to do and you know how you can, what we can do to stay hydrated, to have our supplement routine just be totally on point, make sure we're getting good sleep and handling our stress. So I'd like to see what you have. We're right at the half an hour mark. Are there any questions? We could probably do maybe one quick question. We have the supplements that you take. Can you quickly run through? I will type them in the chat as you say them, but just kind of give your flow during the day and I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, I do the fundamentals. So the Menabiotic, I do take the fundamentals pack. I do Edge, energy, mood, and sleep. And then I've also added in, we have a separate probiotic that I take. All of those things I take in the morning, super easy. I wake up, I do drink a little coffee. It's half decaf, but I love the taste of coffee. I do drink a little coffee, right? Because I love it. But I take my Menabiotics, which is a scoop in a glass of water, meant to focus, meant to sink in the morning.
And that's all part of the fundamentals pack, guys. And for those, and again, as you're,
I always take a mood just because the world is a little crazy right now. I take a little mood and then I'll take Edge, mid-morning, again in the afternoon if I need it. And then at night I take sleep. I love the sleep. Oh my God. I remember the first time I took sleep, I thought, oh my goodness, I haven't slept like this in 20 years. And what I love is you wake up and you're just like, oh, I slept really, really well. You're not like, oh, sleep hangover. There's no hangover at all. It's amazing. Yeah. And then I'm taking the probiotic. I take the probiotic. The sleep, Cheryl, I just take one. That's all I take. Some people take two, some people take three, and you can change that depending upon, what your, let's just say, stress level is like at that point. And the thing you have to remember with sleep is once you take sleep, electronics off, right? If you need to look at a screen, put your blue light blocking glasses on, because there's the, I guess, the corngrass extract or something that's in the sleep that if you were watching a movie and you took sleep, it would actually stimulate your brain and you will not fall asleep. So many of us have done that. We're like, okay, don't do that again. And the same thing that's interesting too, is you could take sleep in the morning and go out in the sunlight and be like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah. Dr. Sean, who created our products, did a deep dive on sleeping. So yes.
And for sleep, if that's something I'll say, it's definitely a commitment to finding what works for you. And because we're a functional product line, and the fundamentals being our award-winning product line, one of our kind of the first, although it is unavailable for these next 3, maybe 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Have the Happy Mind Pack, which is, I was just putting that in here.
It's
It
so
was
great.
for now,
Yeah.
and it's fantastic. It's going to be great. And then when the fundamentals is available again, and we have that mentobiotics, so we can make sure we assure all of the best, highest quality that Amare has always been held to. Happy Mind Pack is going to be fantastic. And then you can bring in the fundamentals, you know, in July. So we're really, really excited about that. And I'm loving seeing your different testimonies in here, guys. We really want to honor your time. And, you know, when I look back and I see, Caroline, about how we talk about this to help people to look to look and feel happier, right? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to look healthy and happy. There's nothing wrong, certainly, with wanting to feel happy and be thankful that, you know, you get to have another birthday, you know, to look at it that way. Not everyone gets to reach 41. And sometimes when I'm even starting to feel old, I was like in the dressing with my kids today, and I think Zoom is making my skin look even better right now. But I was in there and I was like, okay, like I got to work my arms a little more. You know, I mean, there's just things.
There's things you have to do, you know,
you just realize your body's aging. It's like, but not everyone gets to hit 41. And I don't want to complain about it. You know, not everyone gets to hit 61. So when we can look at it that way, and then we can take hold and say, what can I do? Let's work on the signaling. And for those of you that are brand new with us in this approach, our products are designed so that you are feeling some effects early on, especially if you're doing one of our products, the mood, some of those that are meant to kick in about 30 minutes. Otherwise, with your consistency and over time, you're gonna be building up those very strategic strains of good bacteria. So that signaling is absolutely rocking. So Caroline, thank you so much. Thanks for speaking to this. And we just want everyone, if you are ready just to honor the age that you are right now, then put, I'm ready, okay, in the comments. If you're ready to honor the age that you are, honor your confidence, or own your confidence, and jump in. If you're not already, jump into one of our strategic Amare approaches that's going to help support you in your aging. If you're ready, let me hear it, that you're ready. Let's own it. Again, not everyone gets to be at the age that you are and that I am. So what we can do is be proactive.
And then let me just add, I want to add something, and that is, you know, embrace your health, embrace your wellness, you know. Let go of that old paradigm that says, oh, that's just what happens because I'm this age. Let go of that and speak to yourself differently, because how you speak to yourself matters, right? Your cells react to how you speak to it. And celebrate getting older and shine your light, shine your light, shine your wisdom, and be an example of what aging well means.
That's what we have for you tonight, everybody.
Absolutely.
Let's give Caroline some love. Thank you for bringing your expertise, your heart, and your tips and your tricks. And I mean, I think it goes without saying, but you not only shine from the inside out, you really are vibrant and beautiful. And thank you just for being who you are and all the people that you are helping in this space of their health. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week, same time, same place, for one of our fun and educational Tuesday night mental wellness talks. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Everybody. Bye.